In our last video, we discussed different options for search criteria. I recommend that you watch that one if you haven't seen it yet. This video discusses the search results page. Let's say I did a search with the following criteria: IU Bloomington, undergraduate, fall 2013, with the search term of English. But before we discuss the search results, we need to discuss some terminology. Yes, I'm going to school you on terms about school. At IU, we distinguish between the terms course and class. This distinction is important for understanding what we get in the search results. A course is an abstract concept, so let's use an example. Math M118 is a course about finite mathematics. When we refer to Math M118, the course, we're referring to a subject and the learning goals related to it. We expect that everyone who has taken M118, regardless of instructor, campus, time of day, classroom, whether it was online or not, etc., has been instructed in sets, counting, basic probability, linear systems, matrices, and the like. If Alice took M118 last year from Professor Smith and Bob took M118 from Professor Jones this year, we can say that they've taken the same course, but they weren't in the same class. A class is a particular instance of a course. Professor Smith taught his class and Professor Jones taught her class. They both taught the same course, but not the same class. A class is sometimes called a section, and while that's not 100% accurate, it's good enough for our purposes today. So you'll hear me refer to a scheduled instance of a course as a class or a section, but to the abstract idea of the subject material as the course. So why is this important? Well, because Course Search looks for both courses and classes. The courses come from the course catalog, and the classes come from the schedule of classes. Instead of going to two different places, Course Search brings all that data together for you. Now that that's out of the way, let's take a look at this page from left to right. In the left column, I first see the criteria that I used in my search. If I want to change those, I can just use this Change Criteria link. Below that, I have a series of facets that I can use to narrow down my search results, starting with Gen Ed, going through attributes, units, course level, subject area, and finally into search terms. In the right column, the first thing is the search box. If I wanted to run a new search, and I'm okay with the criteria on the left, I can just type in my new search term or terms here. Below that, I have a listing of the number of results on this page and the total results for the search query. Then comes the table with our search results. Below the table, I have my paging controls, which will let me step forward and backward between different pages of the results set. You might be wondering what all these terms mean. Gen Ed stands for General Education, and listed below are different general education requirements for this campus that different classes satisfy. There are some courses, such as variable topic courses, in which some classes of that course count for Gen Ed credit and others do not. Very often all classes of a course will count, but it's a good idea to look at the details of the class rather than the course. Okay, so if I were interested in seeing which courses have at least one class that satisfies the IUB Gen Ed A&H requirement, I can just click on that item in the facet, and it'll narrow down the results. Then I have attributes, which are important bits of information about a course or class. In this case, we don't have any, but for example, if a class had eTexts, it would display there that it was an eText class. Below that, I have units. So if I'm interested in an English course with a specific number of units, say 3 or 4, I can just click on those numbers and it'll narrow it down to just those units. Same thing with course level. If I'm looking for a course in the 100 or 200 level, I can just select 100 or 200. Below that, I have different subject areas that the search algorithm correlated with our search term. You can see that there are courses that have something to do with English that aren't in the English department. In this case, most of the courses come from the English department, which you would expect, so we've shown those first in the search results. The table contains a slightly different set of information. We have the catalog number, the title of the course, the number of units it counts for, the terms in which it's offered, and again, whether it has classes that count as a Gen Ed credit. So let me talk about two of these items, specifically terms offered and Gen Ed. Terms offered shows two different types of information. If a course has a scheduled class in a particular term, that term is shown. Here we have Fall 2013, so we know that a class of English E301 is being offered in Fall 2013. Below that, I've got a listing of terms in which this class is typically offered. Here we're projecting this to run in spring, summer, and fall, but in the case of spring and summer, no classes have been scheduled yet. If there's something in the Gen Ed column, that means that some classes of this course count for program or campus Gen Ed credit. You'll have to check on the course overview page to see which specific classes count. Remember to check with your advisor to see whether you've picked the right course for your Gen Ed requirements. Finally, on the far right of the table, we have a checkbox and a star. The checkbox allows us to add this course to our planner, and the star allows us to bookmark the course. We'll talk more about those in our planner videos. So that's it for this video. In our next and final course search video, we'll look at the course overview page.